This is my mama's makeup and crochet channel.
And now we're going to be working on the flower. And I will be using this yellow yarn this time. And now we begin. But first, I'm just going to take out some of this stuffing for now, okay? Because it might get in the way when I'm working around this part. Okay, I'm just going to put it back later and add some more. Okay, so again, I will leave a long tail for weaving in later. Okay, so to begin, we will make a slip knot. Okay, so there's our slip knot. Okay, we have that on our hook, and we will make a standing single crochet as the first stitch for this round. But we will not be crocheting over these two loops right there. Okay, we will only be crocheting right there into that front loop. So for this round, we will be doing our single crochets into those front loops only. And also, I'm going to be starting here on this stitch right here, but you can actually start anywhere you want. Okay, I just want to do it here on this side. And by the way, that leaf might get in the way sometimes, so you have to be patient with it. So let's begin round 1. So again, we will be working on that front loop only, not including that back loop right there. Okay, so for a standing single crochet, we already have our slip knot on the hook. We insert our hook and we grab yarn and pull up a loop. And then we have 2 loops on the hook. Okay, so we grab yarn and pull through both loops. And now we have our standing single crochet. And now we will work on this front loop again, right there. So let's just move this out of the way. So single crochet into that next stitch. Okay, again, we will be working on front loop only. So single crochet into that front loop. Okay, there. And this one also. Front loop only, single crochet. And now we have 1 single crochet into each of those 3 stitches. And on that 4th stitch right there, we will be making an increase. So 2 single crochets into that same stitch. And we're still working into that front loop only. Okay, so we will repeat that pattern. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and into that next stitch we will make an increase. Okay, so 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so this is the pattern that we will be repeating throughout this round. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and on the 4th one we will make 2 single crochets in that same stitch. Okay, and remember, we are working on the front loops only. So let's continue, and I'll see you at the end of this round. And we are done with the first round for our flower. So if we count the stitches, there should be 30 stitches for this round. And also, I don't know if you can clearly see, but this yellow part right here is going outwards, right? So it's like that. And we actually want that to happen. That's why for this round, we only worked on the front loops. Let's start round 2. Okay. Again, we will be working in continuous rounds. So this is the first stitch from the previous round. So we will go ahead and make our first single crochet on top of that. So that's our first single crochet for round 2. And let's put our stitch marker into that first stitch. Okay, and into that next stitch we will make 1 single crochet also. Okay, so 1 2, so 1 single crochet into each of those first 2 stitches, and into that next stitch we will make 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Okay, so increase, so right there 1 2 and then increase. Okay, next we will be doing 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So 1 2 3, again after that increase, so 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, and on the next stitch 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Okay, so our increase. Again we will repeat that pattern, so 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So 1 2, okay, so 3 4, and on that next stitch 2 single crochets. So this is the pattern that we will be repeating throughout this round. So again, 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So 1 2 3 4, and on the next stitch 2 single crochets. So we will keep repeating this pattern until we are almost at the end of this round. After our last increase, there should still be 2 stitches remaining before the end. Anyway, it will be better if I will just show it to you later when we get to that part. So for now, let's continue with this pattern and I'll see you in a bit. And now we're close to the end of the round. Okay, so this is the part that I was talking about. So here I'm just finishing the pattern, and that is our increase. And then after the increase, there are still 2 stitches remaining before that stitch marker. Okay, so we're just gonna make 1 single crochet into each of those 2 stitches. And that is the end of round 2. And we should have 36 stitches for this round. Now we begin round 3. Okay, we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So 1 2, don't forget the stitch marker. Okay, put that into that first stitch. Okay, so again 1 2. Okay, so we make 1 single crochet into each of the first 5 stitches. So 3 4 5. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5, and then into the next one 2 single crochets, increase, and we will be repeating that pattern throughout this round. Okay, so let's do it one more time. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, just to double check. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5, and into that next stitch we make an increase, so 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So let's continue working on this round with this pattern, and I'll see you when we reach the end. And that is the end of round 3, and we should have 42 stitches after this round. But before we move on to the next round, I will just be working with this tail. Okay, I will just weave in this tail so we could secure it. Okay, actually, to secure that, we can just go ahead and tie these two tails together. Okay, this tail from the stem and this yellow yarn. We could just tie these two together into a knot, but I'm not gonna do that yet because I'm seeing these gaps right there, visible holes, and I want to close them a little bit. So I'm just gonna weave in this yellow yarn through those stitches and see what I can do with those gaps. Anyway, you can skip this step if you want, okay, if you don't really have to do it. So I am now done weaving in this yellow yarn through those stitches, and I'm just going to tie these two tails together to secure them. So one more knot just to make sure that they won't unravel. And now I'm just going to hide them right there, okay, and we can just add stuffing on top of them later. So we will be adding more stuffing later when we have the whole flower done. Okay, so for now, let's move on to the next round. All right, so let's continue. We will begin round 4. Okay, so we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so again 1, 2, 3, and let's not forget our stitch marker. Okay, there on the first stitch. Okay, so after that we will make 2 single crochets into the next stitch, so that's an increase. Okay, and up next we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and into that next stitch 2 single crochets. Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, so an increase. Okay, and this is our repeat pattern for this round. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches and increase, or 2 single crochets in that next stitch. Okay, so one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and into that next stitch we will make an increase, so 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So 1 and 2. Okay, so we will be repeating this pattern throughout this round, and I'll see you here before we end. So right after our last increase, there should be 3 stitches remaining right there. So let's continue working on this round, and I'll see you in a bit. And we are now close to the end of the round, and like I said, right after our last repeat of the pattern, that increase right there, there should be 3 stitches remaining. Okay, so we will make 1 single crochet into each of those 3 stitches. Okay, so 2 and 3. Okay, and that is the end of round 4, and we should have 48 stitches for this round. So now we will begin round 5, and for this round we will begin with 1 single crochet into each of the following 7 stitches. So 1, and stitch marker, of course. Okay, so again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and on that next stitch we will make an increase. Okay, so 2 single crochets into that same stitch, and that is the pattern that we will be repeating for this round. So one more time, 1 single crochet into each of the next 7 stitches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and then increase into that next stitch. So 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So let's continue working on this round with this pattern, and I'll see you at the end. We are now done with round 5, and we should have 54 stitches for this round. Okay, so now we move on to round 6. So for round 6, we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. Okay, so 1 2 3 4. Okay. Oh, and I forgot my stitch marker. Okay, so there, into that first stitch of the round. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, and into that next stitch an increase. Okay, so 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Okay, and up next we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches. Okay, so this is the start of our repeat pattern. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Okay, and on the next one, 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Oops. And that is the pattern that we will be repeating for this round. So 1 single crochet into each of the next 8 stitches, and then increase in the next. Okay, so one more time. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and 2 single crochets into the next stitch. Okay, so again we will be repeating that until we are almost at the end. Okay, and before we reach that stitch marker right there, after our last repeat of the pattern, we should have 4 stitches remaining right here. Okay, I will show it to you later. So let's get working on this round, and right after that last increase, before the end, I will meet you there. And we just completed this pattern right here. That's the increase. And now we have 4 stitches remaining, so we will make 1 single crochet into each of those remaining 4 stitches. Okay, so 2 3 and 4, and that is the end of round 6, and we should have 60 stitches for this round. So moving on, this next round, round 7, is just 1 single crochet into each of these 60 stitches around. So let's keep working on this round. Again, it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch around. So let's continue, and I will see you at the end of this round. We are done with round 7, and we should still have 60 stitches for this round. Okay, so next round, round 8. And for round 8, we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches, and then increase into the next stitch. Okay, so this is our first single crochet, so right there. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and into that next stitch 2 single crochets. Okay, so 1 and 2, and then we will repeat this pattern. So that's 1 single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches, and into the next one 2 single crochets. So let's continue. So we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and into that next stitch 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, so again we will be repeating this pattern until we reach the end of the round. So again, the pattern is 1 single crochet into each of the next 9 stitches and 2 single crochets into the next stitch. Okay, so we will keep working on that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. And round 8 is done, and we should have 66 stitches around. And for round 9, we will only make 1 single crochet into each stitch around, so no increases for this round. Okay, so let's keep working on that. Again, it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, and I'll see you at the end of this round. And we are done with round 9. Okay, and we should have 66 stitches around. Okay, and we will begin the next round. Okay, so for round 10, we will first make 1 single crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Okay, so 3 right there. Oh, and our stitch marker, don't forget, there on the first stitch. So again, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then 4, 5. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the next stitch 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, so increase. Okay, and then we will begin our repeat pattern. Okay, so we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 10 stitches, and after that 2 single crochets in the next. Okay, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and on that next one, increase. So 1 and 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And that is the pattern that we will be repeating for this round. So again, that's 1 single crochet into each of the next 10 stitches, and on the next 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we will be repeating that pattern until we reach this part. So after the last repeat of the pattern, okay, after that increase right there, there should be 5 stitches remaining, okay, before that stitch marker. So let's keep working on this round, and I'll see you when we get to this part. And we're almost at the end of round 10. So after that last pattern repeat, there should be 5 stitches remaining here. Okay, after that increase right there. So we will make 1 single crochet into each of those 5 remaining stitches. Okay, so 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and that is the end of round 10. And for this round, there should be 72 stitches. Okay, and now let's move on to the next round. Round 11 is just 1 single crochet into each of these 72 stitches. So there will be no increases for round 11. Again, it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, so let's keep working on that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So we're done with round 11, and we should still have 72 stitches. Okay, and now we will begin round 12. And for round 12, we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 11 stitches, and on the next stitch we make an increase, or 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, so 1, okay, 2, 3, okay, sorry, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and on that next stitch 2 single crochets. Okay, so 1 and 2 into that same stitch. Okay, so we will be repeating this pattern throughout this round. Okay, so again, that's 1 single crochet into the following 11 stitches, and on the next stitch we make an increase, or 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, so we will be repeating that pattern throughout this round, and I'll see you here at the end. And we are done with round 12, and after this we should have 78 stitches around. Okay, and then we will move on to the next round. Okay, so round 13 is just 1 single crochet into each of these 78 stitches. Okay, so no increase again for this round. Okay, so again, it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, so let's continue working on that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So this is the end of round 13, and we should still have 78 stitches around. Moving on, for round 14, we will begin with 1 single crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. Okay, so right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and our stitch marker, don't forget. So okay, so right there into that first single crochet. Okay, 6. Okay, and then on the next stitch we will make an increase. Okay, so again, that's 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Okay, and now we will start our repeat pattern. Okay, so we will make 1 single crochet into each of the next 12 stitches, and on the next stitch 2 single crochets. Okay, so that is our repeat pattern for this round. So again, that's 1 single crochet into each of the next 12 stitches and an increase into the next one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so into that next one, an increase. Okay, so that's 2 single crochets in that same stitch. Okay, so that is the pattern that we will be repeating throughout this round. So that's 1 single crochet into each of the next 12 stitches, and into that next stitch we will make an increase or 2 single crochets in the same stitch. So we will keep doing that same pattern throughout this round until we reach this part right here. So after the last pattern repeat, we should have 6 stitches remaining here before that stitch marker. So let's keep working on this round and I will see you in a bit. Now we're almost at the end of round 14. Okay, so again, after that last pattern repeat, so right there, that's our increase. Okay, we should have 6 stitches remaining for this round. Okay, so we're just going to make 1 single crochet into each of those stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and that is the end of round 14, and we should have 84 stitches around. Okay, and now we will move on to the next round. For round 15, we will make 1 single crochet into each of these 84 stitches. So no increases this time. Again, it's just 1 single crochet into each stitch around. Okay, so let's keep working on that and I'll see you at the end of this round. And this is the end of round 15. So again, since we did not make any increase, round 15 should still have 84 stitches. And from here on out, we won't be making any more increases until we reach the size that we want for the flower. So we will just be making 1 single crochet into each stitch around for 32 more rounds. Okay, so that means for round 16 up to round 47, we will be repeating round 15, which is 1 single crochet into each stitch around. And since we're not doing any more increases, we are just making this flower taller. Okay, it's not gonna get wider like this. But before I move on to the next round, I will be attaching this leaf to the flower right now because it might be harder to do that when the flower is already so tall. Well, I'm just going to show you how I did it, but I would probably just fast forward this part of the video because it's just simply sewing anyway. Of course, you can do it any way you want as long as you keep the shape of the flower. Okay, I mean, you don't attach it like that. Okay, it looks deformed already, or maybe like this, pull it away a little too much. Okay, so we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we will retain the round shape of the flower. Also, you can sew the leaf to the flower at this point, or maybe later in any way you want, or even not attach the leaf to the flower at all. So it's up to you. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly show you how I did it. Let's fast forward this part since it's just simply sewing. I mean, I'm just going back and forth from the flower to the leaf, so nothing complicated there. So here we go. And we are done with this part. Okay, I'm just going to secure this end with a knot. Okay, and we will leave it like that, and that's fine. We are gonna put stuffing on top of it later anyway. And now we can continue working on the flower. And like I said, we will just be repeating round 15 for round 16 to 47. So that is just one single crochet into each stitch around for the next 32 rounds. Okay, I will be doing that off camera, and I will see you at the end of round 47. And we're done with round 47, and we should still have 84 stitches around. This is the end of the round, and those other markers are for the centers and the corners. Okay, anyway, I will explain it to you later. So I have to make this flat like that because I want this leaf to be on that side. Of course, if you want it on the other side, that's fine as well. Okay, so yes, I laid it flat like that so I can find these spots where we have the markers. Okay, let's just call them four corners. Okay, so it's easy to remember. So right there. So we will be doing that later. So right there, like that. Okay, and we are going to fill this with stuffing. Okay, and this is how we are going to close the top of our flower. Anyway, we will get to that part later. Anyway, remember we have 84 stitches right here. So again, I tried to find this center on this side to find the other corners. Okay, so right there. So we have 21 stitches right here, and then the marker, then 21 stitches, and then the marker there, and again 21 stitches right there, and 21 also there. So 1 2 3 and 4. Okay, anyway, this is where I stopped because that was the end of the round. Okay, but I want to reach this part right here to that corner, so I will just be making a few single crochets to reach that part, that corner stitch right there. So here I'm just working on those single crochets. And now that we are done with that, okay, later on when we have the stuffing already in the plushie, we will be sewing these top parts together. Okay, and to do that, we will be needing a very long tail. Okay, I'm gonna leave probably around 4 feet. Okay, I know it's harder to work with a very long thread, but it's better this way so that we are sure that we will have enough for the task later. Okay, so we're going to cut this here. So that's our tail that we will be needing to sew the top part together later. Okay, and to close this, okay, let's slip stitch into that next stitch. Okay, there, and pull the yarn out all the way. Okay, oops. Okay, so for now we will leave that part. Okay, put it aside because right now we will be working on the face. Okay, we will be putting eyes and mouth. Okay, but if you don't want your plushie to have a face, that's okay as well. That's fine. You can skip this part and go straight to stuffing the plushie and closing it. For the eyes, I have here 14mm safety eyes. Of course, you can use any kind and any size. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the placement of this first one that I did. So here I'm just counting the rows. Okay, so here is where we are going to place our eye. So that's the 23rd. Okay, in between the 23rd and the 24th row from the bottom. Okay, and also we have to find the center. Okay, so right there, I'm gonna trace it downwards, but of course it's slanting like that, so we move it a little, and I think that is our center right here. Okay, and then we're just going to count the rounds. Okay, just up to 23. Okay, so that's the 23rd row. So, and from the center we are going to count 5 stitches. Okay, and that's where we are going to place our safety eye. Okay, that first safety eye, because the eyes are going to be 10 stitches apart. Okay, so we are going to lock this. Safety eyes are really nice to use. They're easy to attach. Okay, and once you lock them like that, they're safe and secure. Okay, they're not going anywhere. And now we are just going to count the stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is where we are going to place this second eye, right there. Okay, and we are going to secure this the same way. Okay, so with this lock right here. So that's nice and tight. Again, there you go. We are done with the eyes. Okay, and now we are going to move on to the mouth. So this plushie is supposed to be a boy, and my kids don't want long eyelashes for this little guy, not like this. So I'm not gonna put any eyelashes. Okay, and they also want a smaller mouth. Okay, maybe just like that. And to do that, we are going to need our yarn needle and our black yarn. So this is a lace weight yarn, so I'm going to need 2 strands. So I'm just finding the place to start our mouth. So just 4 rows below the eyes. Okay, if it's not obvious, I am just winging it. Okay, I'm just trying to see where I should place the needle as I go. I don't think there's a right way to do this as long as you get the result that you want. And of course, you can decide on the shape that you want for the mouth. And this is the mouth. Okay, and now we are done with the face of our plushie. Okay, I know it's not perfect, but I think it's still kind of cute, right? And now we are just going to tie these ends together. Okay, to secure, to make sure that the mouth doesn't get unraveled. Okay, so we're just gonna make a knot. We just have to make sure that we don't do it too tight so the mouth doesn't get deformed. Okay, so there. Okay, so we have to tie it carefully. Okay, and I think that's okay. Our mouth now is not gonna unravel. And now it's time to fill this with stuffing. This part right here is a little bit hard to show on camera, but remember that stem right there. Okay, we are just gonna add more stuffing into it. We are just making sure that it's completely filled in. And now we're going to be putting in more stuffing into the flower. I think this is okay for now because we will be sewing the top part first, okay? I mean, it's okay if it's not fully stuffed yet. We can just add more later. It will be harder to work on this if we have too much stuffing anyway, okay? So we will be working on that right now. So we have our tail right here. And since we're working with a very long yarn, we have to be very careful because it might get tangled along the way. So we need our yarn needle and let's start. Okay, so we're just going to take this off. And I will go through that same stitch where we have the slip stitch, okay? And go through that stitch there on the other side. Okay, pull that yarn all the way. Okay, and we are going to take this off now. And we are just simply gonna do a running stitch to sew these two sides of the flower together. Okay, going through those stitches. Okay. Okay, and I think there's no need for further explanation on this part because it's just simply sewing these opposite sides together. So we are just going to fast forward this part of the video. So we are doing this up to 6 rows. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to be our last stitch right there. Okay, and now we are going to go back up. So same thing, we are just going the opposite direction now. And let's stop at this point. Okay, so right there. And we are now going to do the other sides together. Okay, like that. Okay, the ones with the stitch marker still. Okay, so we are going through that stitch right there, sorry. Okay, there, but not going through the opposite side right here, okay? Okay, sorry, like I said, it's kind of hard to work with a long thread or yarn like this. Okay, then okay, we are gonna go through that stitch right there. And now we can remove that stitch marker. And we'll make our needle go through that stitch and through that part right there in the center. There. To get to the other side, okay, of the flower. So that stitch right there. Okay. And now we are ready to sew these other two sides of the flower together. So same thing that we did with the other sides. Okay, we're gonna go through a few stitches like that, then go back up. Sometimes it's kind of hard to explain exactly what I'm doing here, so I am just trying my best to show it clearly through the video. Okay, and I hope I'll be able to do just that. Again, it's basically like doing the same thing we did earlier. It's just that we're going through more layers this time because we have that part right there in the middle. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to fast forward this part of the video since it's just the same. Okay, so after 6 rows, we are just going to go back up. I mean, sew in the opposite direction so we can go back to the top of the flower. At this point, I'm already going back, sewing in the opposite direction. Okay, so let's continue. And that is our last stitch right there. And now our yarn is back at the top of the flower. Okay, and that's in preparation for the next task after we add more stuffing. Okay, anyway, for now we will be adding more stuffing through those holes. Okay, so I'm gonna continue doing that until I'm happy with how this plushie looks and feels. I think I'm happy with this now. It looks cute. So now we are gonna close the top part of the flower. Okay, so we have our yarn right there in the center. I will start with this side. Okay, I am just gonna sew these two sides together. Okay, so let's go through that stitch. Okay, anyway, you should have 21 stitches, around 21, 21, and 21. But if we missed a stitch, or maybe this one has 22 and this one has 20 only, anyway, it's fine if it's not that obvious and you don't have the exact number of stitches right there. Okay, we just have to make it work. I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, so anyway, let's continue. Okay, let's try our best to sew them together so they don't unravel. Anyway, I think I'm just going to fast forward also this part of the video. Okay, since it's just sewing these sides together. Okay. Again, like I said, if you don't have enough stitches here or you have too much, that's fine. Let's just make it work. Okay, it's not really a big deal, I guess. So now we are going to sew in the opposite direction. Okay, so we are doing this also, of course, so that we can go back to the center part of the flower. Okay. So we are now back to the center of the flower. Okay, so I think we're done with this section right here. And now we can move on to a second one, that section right there. Okay, so we are just gonna go through a stitch right there. Okay, so again, we don't have the exact stitches where we should go. Okay, we're just finding a way so that we can go to the other side. Okay, so we can start with this next section. Okay, so again, we are just gonna sew these two sides together. So again, it's the same thing that we did earlier with the first one that we finished, okay? So we will keep sewing this close up to that last point right there of the section, and then we go back and sew in the opposite direction so that we can reach the center part of the flower, and then we can move on to the next section. And we will keep doing these steps until we have closed all the remaining open parts of this plushie. And we are done closing all those sections on top of the flower. And now I am just going to go through these stitches so I can go to the back, because that's where I'm going to weave in this tail, okay? Just going back and forth through some of those stitches a few times before we cut the yarn. And we are finally done with our project. So let's just put this away, and here it is. This is our Crochet Tulip Plushie, and this is how it looks like on the front, okay? And if you don't want a face, that's fine too. I think it's also okay. It looks cute like that, okay? Well, anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you have questions or clarifications, feel free to leave a comment down below. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that bell button so you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. See you soon! Bye!
Like if you like this video, subscribe if you love it, share if you care. Thank you for watching. Bye!